everyone, and welcome to the Knowledge Corner. I am David, and accompanying me are your local self-advocates, Chuck Hartson and Henry Wesley. If you follow our channel, then you know that the last episode that we did was about civil rights movement. Today's episode, we're going to expand on that a little bit and discuss what it was like before and after the civil rights movement in many aspects of a person's life. The first topic we'll talk about is mobility, or the ability of somebody to get from place to place. So, Mr. Chuck, how were things before?
Get nobody work, and every time we get somebody to work.
Okay, so getting around before the civil rights movement, it was difficult to get from place to place.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Henry, question number one, how is it now?
Things are better. I can get around on my own now due to my motorized wheelchair. Most cities also have installed ramps at the corners for wheelchairs to cross the road. Some buildings also have automatic doors, where if I press a button, the door automatically opens for me.
Sounds like society has made a great number of improvements in this area to make it easier for people with disabilities to get from place to place. So let's discuss our next topic, which is education, or how people with disabilities are treated by the educational department. Mr. Henry, question number two, what was it like to get an education prior to the civil rights?
Before the civil rights movement, people with disabilities could not attend classes at public schools with other kids. They either had to be homeschooled or in a specialized class, being segregated from others. Colleges also used to not be disability friendly either. Prior to 1975, schools had few obligations to children with disabilities. This changed in 1975 with the Education for All Handicapped Children Act.
So people with disabilities were not allowed to share class space with other kids. That seems to be pretty discouraging. Mr. Chuck, how are things now? Are students with disabilities allowed to share class space?
Yeah, when the doctor's doing it, you get cloud out when somebody's looking at you up in the back. You know, when you go somewhere and you got to sit in the back, I can't see you.
Okay, so now there have been improvements, but there's still some issues because they put you in the back where you can't see. Okay. So are there different types of technology now to make it easier for people with disabilities to learn?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking there's, as Mr. Henry has over there, the Dynavox and Toby and all that. So it sounds like there's been some improvements in this area as well, but there's still some areas that need to be fixed. Okay. So after an individual receives an education, the next thing that they usually do is try to find suitable work, correct?
Yep.
So let's talk about this topic. Mr. Henry, question number three, what was it like for people with disabilities trying to get a job before?
Prior to the movement, very few people with disabilities found suitable employment. Back then, an employer would disqualify a good candidate for a job because they were disabled, even if the disability had no effect on their ability to perform the job. This changed in 1990 with the Americans with Disabilities Act. This prohibited employers from discriminating based on disability.
So even if the disability had no effect on the person's ability to perform the job, they were disqualified strictly because they were disabled? That's not right. So, Mr. Chuck, how are things nowadays? Are there more job opportunities for people with disabilities?
Yeah, when new they are, when new staff,
Okay. So with new staff, there's more opportunities for people to get out and do work.
yeah,
Okay. So how do you feel about the opportunity to be able to work?
very good.
You like that? Okay. So it sounds like there's been great strides in this area as well over time. So let's talk about our next topic, which is living conditions, or institutional living from the old time to group homes of now. So Mr. Henry, question number 4, what was it like living in an institution during your childhood?
No, I did not like it at all. I grew up at Willowbrook prior to it being shut down. Back then there was very few staff members. Therefore, there was large groups of individuals to one staff. We did not get the attention we needed to strive and develop. I would often be in a room with 30 others.
30 other individuals in one room, that seems like a chaos. Like, they wouldn't be able to give you any attention at all, so that seems like a very challenging time there. Mr. Chuck, how are things now living in the group home? How many people do you live with now?
We don't know whether and not go home right now. You don't know where everything is. And we eat more than they about out people out.
So you're getting new people in right now?
Yeah,
So how many people live with you? Other individuals?
I want to say 10.
10 people? Okay. That's a bit different than the 30 individuals that Mr. Henry was talking about before. So how many staff do you have working on one shift for you?
Like I told you, last night we had a full sale.
So you had a full staff last night, and you were
Yep.
saying that was 5?
Yep.
So that's it seems like the ratio for individual to staff has improved considerably, because before it was 1 staff to 30 individuals. Now it seems to be 1 staff to 2, maybe 4 to 6 at the most. So it seems like a great improvement. Now I wonder, Mr. Henry, question number 5. When you was living in the institution, did you make choices for yourself?
No, I did not make choices for myself. Staff would often make choices concerning me without consulting me.
So you never had any say in it at all. So how did that make you feel?
I didn't like it. It did not allow me to have a say in my future. Who would know what's best for me than me?
I see. So you had no say at all in anything that affected you. It's got to be very,
Maybe I hurt.
yeah, very hard, very challenging, and very discouraging. Mr. Chuck, who makes decisions for you now?
I do.
You do? And how do you feel about that?
Great.
Seems like you really enjoy being able to make the choices for yourself. And That's great that people are able to make choices for
Nobody
themselves.
can boss me around.
Yeah, that's good. So let's go back to talk about the way staff was trained. Mr. Henry, question number 6. How was staff trained to care for you and accomplish their job beforehand?
Back then, I don't think staff was trained well prior to them working with us. This and the individual to staff ratio often caused it so staff did not get to know us or what we like. It did not give staff the time to learn about us and our dreams. It often seemed like staff just wanted to get their stuff done and be over with their shift.
I see. So they didn't really give people very much time to try to get to learn you or figure out what their job was before they just sent them to work. So that seems like a really challenging time. Mr. Chuck, how are DSPs trained nowadays?
When you gotta sit down with them and get a book from you doing hours.
Okay, so they first start by reading a book about you?
Yep.
Okay, so that seems...
And I noticed something at my home, people want to quit all the time.
So people often quit.
Yep.
So besides the book, are there any other things that a staff does in order to learn you guys? Do they shadow other veterans?
Some people how to cook, you know, some new people how to cook.
Okay.
Stand back.
Okay. So they actually read the book and then they learn from somebody that's been working there for a while.
Yep.
So that's good, you know, to learn from somebody that has been working with you guys a while. Who better to teach somebody than somebody that
Yep.
already knows you? So it sounds like there's been a great number of strides in this area as well when it comes to living conditions. So, Mr. Chuck, and I think I know what your answer will be, is what is the most difficult part of living in a group home now?
They want to work there and they kind of hard, but I don't get to know people.
So the most difficult part of living in a group home now is keeping staff around long enough for them to,
And get to know people.
until they get to know you.
Yeah.
That seems pretty difficult because it seems like you train a person and then they leave and you got to train
Yeah.
somebody new.
No, and every week somebody leaves.
So that sounds pretty discouraging. So,
Yep.
Mr. Henry, question number 7 is, if you were a boss, how would you fix this?
Employers need to make their employees feel like they are appreciated. This does not have to involve a wage increase. It can be accomplished by acknowledging when someone does a good job or when they go above and beyond their job description.
I see, and that's a very good answer. It sounds like a good way to fix the problem. So, Mr. Chuck, the same question for you. How would you fix the issue?
And down with them and let's talk with them and some books and get somebody and they with me and sit down with them.
Okay. So you're saying that you would find staff that were not happy and sit down with them to figure out exactly why they weren't happy?
Yep.
That sounds like a good solution as well. So this has been a very interesting episode. I've enjoyed it. So we thank you for viewing our episode. If you liked it, please hit like. If you would like to see future episodes, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. This is the Knowledge Corner saying, have a great day.